The views and opinions expressed on Lifeguards Off Duty are those of its hosts and guests exclusively. They do not represent any entity, organization, or municipality.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Michael Kachmar.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Sean.
And this is Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Kachmar, the Jersey Shore #1 lifeguard-themed video podcast.
Watch us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook Live. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever streaming service you prefer.
If you would like to contact us, send an email to drkachmar@icloud.com. Follow us on Instagram at lg.association.
All right, let's get started.
Let's start the show.
Let's do it.
She said they're gonna lock you up for killing me tonight. And then I bit her lip just a little bit harder. Well, I was so sure it wasn't real. But she's afraid of ghosts, now I'm sleeping in her room.
It didn't go over. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. This is Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Today's date is February 22nd, the year of our Lord, 2022. Sorry about the little glitch. We're just starting now on with Ecom, which is Ecam, which is a new streaming service. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. We have a guest today, so let's just go through everybody who's here. So I'm Dr. Michael Kachmar. That's not my name, LG Association.
Yeah, because you have the mouse. You took the mouse.
Oh, I took the mouse. So let's see. So let's go here. We have. Sorry, I'm working everything today. So we have Tyler here. Say hello, Tyler. Anything going on? Anything to report to us?
Nope, not today.
Not today. So let me go here. This is really hard to do here. So sorry. Here, why don't you take this?
You wanted to take,
wanted
to take it
so
over.
Here's our guest. The problem is I can't see the little. We have Adam and I don't see her name here. So
I did not put Tori's name.
So there. So we have Tori.
It's okay.
So
it's only 4 letters.
So hello, Tori. Nice to see you here. Now this should not be happening here. See, we're having a hard time here. We're having a whole problem with our technical stuff. But this is how it is live. And we have. Who do we have here?
Adam. Nice to be here.
Adam.
Again.
There's Adam. Adam the man. So let's put Adam's name there. So Adam, thank you. Adam was here one time before. Now he's back, right? So
2 times before.
2 times before?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a guest and as a host with Chip.
Okay, that's right. So let me come back here. Let's see. What are you laughing at?
His eye looks so
We're
bad.
laughing at
Yeah, I know. I was looking at his eye. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say
see the
anything.
other guy.
Do you have a snap diagnosis on his eye for us, real quick? I know you're a foot doctor, but do you think
he's got a sty in
do you
his
think
eye.
he was-
It's a sty.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
think
a
he was
sty.
smelling too many
it's a
feet or
black
something?
It's a sty.
eye. It's a black eye.
So
You
No,
should
it's
see-
not.
It's not.
You got sty cream at the
not.
pharmacy.
Yeah, it's
on
in
your
my
way over
car.
yeah,
It's in my car.
it's in your car.
here. So gross, dude.
So anyway, today we have a guest, and you work at Tori. Where do you work at now? Where did you work at when?
So most recently, I was at Ocean Beach 3. It's a private beach just north of Lavalette.
Oh yeah.
I was there for 4 years. Before that, I was at Ortley for 9 years with Toms River Township, and then also started at the pool.
Didn't you guys? I was just talking to the captain from Lavalette Jack Casino, and he says that there's a lot of beach erosion up there. Is that the what's the matter? Oh no, I was gonna. Yeah, I want to do the thing. So was there a lot of beach erosion up there?
There was definitely a lot further up. Lavalette has like that issue with their jetty. They're always losing sand constantly. So we hadn't done that bad once we'd finished like the dredging and everything, but we're definitely a lot better than Ortley is right now.
Yeah,
Ortley's really
yeah.
bad.
Their
I heard-
shoreline's
yeah.
like 5 feet away from the
Yeah.
walkway.
I heard they're like the worst one right now, Ortley.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people get like the OBs and Ortley like confused. I know I always do. I always the
Can I have
OB
that?
1, 2, and 3, and
Huh?
I don't know which one's where.
No, yeah, it's right after Lavalette. It's like Sunset Manor, Tri Beach. Then there's like
Yeah.
OB Shores, OB1, OB2, like Monterey, Seacrest.
See, I always thought I
so
went
many.
Ortley, OB's, Lavalette.
Yeah. What
some reason.
I was told is that they're proposing doing more replenishment for
Probably,
Ortley,
yeah.
right? So that's going to be there's a lot of money. I
mean,
think it's like
what
$40 million, and so yeah, I'm
What
not so
else can
sure.
they do? Like, what else can they do?
Nothing.
At
They
that
got to
point?
replenish. Well, that was the whole.
Can they make jetties? Like, and that would protect it more? Is that a thing that can happen?
No.
Like, that's always been one of my questions, because I know all the Monmouth County beaches all have jetties. I'm like, is that something Ocean County can do?
Well, it's not up to. It's the engineers, the United States engineers. Here's the thing: what happened and why everybody's all concerned is when they decided on the beach replenishment. Once they put the dunes in, you cannot touch them. So if you have beach erosion, which you will, then you need to replenish. So the whole process was that was baked into the DNA of this was to have beach replenishment. Now, the state will pay a part of it, the federal government will pay a part of it, but the towns still have to pay a part of it. I think it's like 12%. And it's not so much the money I think they're worried about as much as when they do it, and it disrupts their season. So listen, if they put those ships out there and start pumping in sand, your season could be done.
Yeah.
And the towns don't. I mean, that's a lot of people are going to be set up that you can't lay on a beach, and it depends on how quick they could do it. So there's a lot of things going on. They gave the towns, I think, 3 options. They could put rocks up along the boardwalk. They could put a wall, or they could put the dunes. And the dunes, I think, were free or mostly free. Mm-hmm. So that's where they went. But because of that, they then have to get replenishment going forward. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where it's at. So anyway, it's a. That's what I was just asking you, because up there I hear it's pretty bad. I haven't seen it, the northern part. So anyway, I want to talk about a little bit about today is about pools. I am, we are ocean lifeguards, but I tell you what, pool lifeguards. I have a lot of respect for pool lifeguards, and. You were a pool lifeguard?
Yes. So with Toms River Township, they have the Snug Harbor Pool, then they have Shelter Cove, and then they have Ortley Beach. So they have 3 different sectors.
And you worked the pools?
Yep. I worked all 3.
And what about you, Adam? You worked the pools?
Yeah, I worked the pool for 3 years out in Whiting, New Jersey, America's Kazakh. It's like a retreat. It's like a retreat center.
Okay,
yeah. They had a lake and
it's an addiction center, right?
Yeah. They have like a separate like addiction program for recovering like addicts that live out there as they're going through this whole recovery process, and like they have legitimate like pool time for like 2 hours a day
because they're not therapy, pool therapy.
They don't. Well, not. It's just kind of for them to get out of their little, because they have a separate area, and they don't really roam around or anything. They kind of are stuck in their one spot, so they have 2 hours. Twice a week.
No, they don't allow dancing at America's Kazakh?
I am aware. Yeah, no dancing on my pool deck.
I went to a wedding there once, and there was no dancing at the wedding.
Oof.
Why not? Why wasn't there any
So it was just a ceremony.
Yeah.
Why was there no
and then,
dancing?
Like food. That's just the rule there.
Yeah.
It's a Christian retreat center. So
I'm Christian. I'm Catholic.
Yeah,
but Christian.
they're like very. They
want to avoid all forms of temptation.
Yeah, they're very strict with modesty. Girls can't wear 2 pieces.
All right.
If a girl's wearing a 2-piece,
Right. So let's get back.
They have to wear a shirt.
Yeah.
How awkward is it to tell a girl that you have to put a shirt on because she's not allowed to wear a bikini in a pool?
What do you mean? I tell you to put a shirt on all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's go back to our pool lifeguards.
I don't tell you.
No, we have a lot. So my thing is, I have a lot of respect for pool lifeguards. I think that to a certain level, pool lifeguards have more liability. When we did a show on liability, we did a search, and there's quite a few pool lifeguards who were indicted for murder and manslaughter. Now, and there's a fine line between negligence and criminal. So you have negligence, which is civil and criminal. We talked about that, and I don't want to get into that now. But most of the stuff that I've been see as a supervisor, and what can happen is you could get jammed up civilly. You get somebody drowns, there was negligence, so they try to prove negligence, and you go down that road. It's very rare to have a criminal. I mean, if you go down on the beach, somebody's in your water, and they're not listening to you, and you punch them in the face, well, that's criminal. You're going to get charged unprovoked. You could get assault charges. But we've seen. Remember, we were looking at it. There was quite a few lifeguards who were actually indicted for manslaughter. And
were they mostly pool lifeguards?
We're all pool lifeguards.
Yeah. Okay.
They were all pool lifeguards. So I have a lot of respect for pool lifeguards. I think it's a tough job. I was in a couple places around the country where I've seen lifeguards, and I was with this one place, and they had an outside like river pool. So I was on the phone and up in my room, and I'm looking down at the window and I could see the lifeguards, and I'm watching them, and they're walking like back and forth with watching the kids come down the river kind of the pool river. I mean, just back and forth, back and forth. I don't know how. I mean, they just really super concentrate.
It can be so mind-numbing.
Yeah, I don't.
Guarding a
Yeah.
pool.
Well, I think only 2 hours on, 2 hours off. I mean, they do something like
Well,
that.
because I work at the YMCA too. I'm a supervisor over there.
Right,
for
right,
the
right,
Lifeguards. And we usually do like an hour up, and a half hour down, and then rotate through like that for the whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always did
God, it's so
rotations because my shifts were never longer than like 3 or 4 hours. So we
Yeah.
would just do like rotations, like especially at the lake because we had a stand with like a little beach. And then you'd have someone on a stand on the dock because there was inflatables. And then you'd always have someone on a board. So you could have like visuals around all of the inflatables in case someone fell off the back. So like you could have one, like the lifeguard on the stand on the beach that was like away from the dock would still have to watch the blind spots where the guy on the board and the guy on the dock couldn't see.
Yeah. Well, I was at a hotel up in North Jersey, and we were. So there's a pool. It's a big indoor pool, and there's side pools, jacuzzis, and then there's actually a little entranceway that you kind of go into a little pool, and then you go out through the door, or it's like these plastic things hanging down. We'll show you the pictures. And there's an outside pool, and it was like 27 degrees out. This was we were there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This weekend, and there's actually a lifeguard in a plastic hut.
Yeah.
like the
You gotta
Bubble
watch
Boy.
it. So we're gonna
Like
show
a toll booth.
So listen, for the people on the podcast, you're gonna have to go to our YouTube video. I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit, and I apologize for the quality of this. We didn't edit it, and it's kind of like just raw beef footage. But one of them is my granddaughter, with the camera. But I want to just give you a kind of look at what's going on here. So
witness too.
yeah, so and there's actually I didn't get a good picture of it. There's a cave there, right? And you go inside this cave and there's water squirting down, and I was like, that could be a dangerous place, but the lifeguards sit right there and they can see inside, So that's a lot of work. They start, I don't know if it's 8 or 9 in the morning. They go until 10 at night.
Holy cow, yeah.
Now the lights come on. I mean that's another layer of stress. Now you don't see as well. But there's a lot of pools. I mean, light in the pool, but the outside too. So it's all going. And you think about people. I don't know, getting. I mean, they're in the pool, but their heads are sticking out. It was 20-something degrees, and at night it was probably even colder, and it was blowing. The wind was howling.
Jeez, could you imagine being in that little hut at like 10 o'clock at night? Absolutely freezing.
I can't even stand a south wind. What do you mean?
Yeah, get out of here.
So
Nice little offshore wind.
So like I said, I want to give out a real compliment. We are ocean lifeguards, and people say, oh, the ocean's really bad. Pool lifeguarding is tough also. On what's that?
I said we appreciate your compliment. The 3 pool guards.
No, because here's the thing. If somebody goes down the pool, they're going down.
Yeah.
You got, and I would think about is tiny little kids going underneath the water, and it doesn't take long, and then an older person like you were talking about have a cardiac issue.
Because I work at the Y, so I mean, the average age.
Easy there at the Cowboy.
Well, no, come on. There are a lot of older people that go.
No, yeah. And here's the thing, though.
You're like one of the younger people that hang out there.
The pool. There's people. You see them. I mean, there's people getting in that pool who are morbidly obese, but they're drinking. There's people pounding. There's a bar right there.
Oh gosh.
And what they do is I'm watching them. They go into because I went in the jacuzzi because my knee was hurting me, so I'm in there. It's pretty hot, and I'm watching everything. And they're boozing it up, and then they're going into the steam room and a sauna. And some of these people are so big, and I'm like, oh man, that's where's the AED? I'm like, look, I'm waiting for the. I'm like, okay, I got to do this. How many breaths and. But and I asked the lifeguards a little bit about what kind of crazy crowd they get there, and there was so many kids, and there's a lot of kids who are autistic, and you don't know, you can't tell by how they look.
Yeah.
And in fact, there were so many kids at that hotel. They were running around the hallways like all night long. I mean, it was like it was
that
crazy.
sounds like a nightmare.
It was a total nightmare.
Parents at pools tend to just like leave their kids like unsupervised.
Well,
Well, yeah,
parents
you're
at the
the-
beach too.
Yeah, but like it
You're
was
the
just
babysitter.
It was like every single parent though when I was at like a pool, they would just like drop their kid off and they wouldn't even be like in the pool area. They'd be out in the other
Well,
like facilities doing stuff.
That's the
And it
thing
was-
about the pool that makes it dangerous in its own way is like the expectation is that it's not dangerous.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You know,
When things
because it's such a
happen-
controlled environment,
And I feel
like
like-
if something goes wrong at the pool, something has gone really, really
Yeah,
wrong.
well, that's what I was gonna say. Like when things happen like at the beach, like it's almost like a daily occurrence. Where like, but when they happen at a pool, it's like probably it's really bad. You know what I mean?
I will tell you this. I've been lifeguarding over 30 years, and I don't remember ever hearing of a time or seeing it in personally where a little child drowns in the ocean. I can't remember. I mean, it's unless it's like no lifeguards around, but they'll drown in a pool. And I think there's a lot of reasons. I mean, there's a lot of action in the pool. I mean, the ocean. There's a lot of waves, and people float. And maybe people are a little bit more cautious with their kids. But for some reason, I keep my fingers crossed. I haven't seen it, but pools, it's a whole different story. And the ones that we watched, the litigation, they actually had a camera, and the lifeguard was sitting there. And she was looking this way, and way in the corner to her left, a little kid got in and went under. Then there was another one, an old guy, again, had a seizure. And, it doesn't take long. And supposedly in this lawsuit, they were saying you're supposed to watch every 30 seconds, move your head. Like, I don't know there's a 30-second rule. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
You gotta
Scanning.
scan.
I mean, that's I don't know how you could figure. That's a lot to put on us. And here's the thing: 15-year-old kid,
Yeah.
16-year-old kid, 17-year-old kid. That's a huge amount of responsibility to put on those people, and that's why to charge them criminally, I think is a crime in itself.
Well, get this. Tori was just telling us off air that at her pool at LA Fitness, they don't even have lifeguards.
Okay, ooh, I don't say that.
Well, no, it's
Let's
not.
not- let's not-
It's
yeah,
not.
let's not-
They don't have.
It's not like
It's not illegal.
required.
Like, there's no liability for the gyms.
Yeah.
To have
Ever since
lifeguards.
2007, the state of New Jersey, they don't require lifeguards in any like private entities. So if
Really?
you're like a gym or like hotels, like you don't necessarily have to have them.
You could post it, assuming your own risk.
So for example, like at LA, we don't allow any children under the age of 16 in the pool. And
So you're
even with like, what if there's a parent?
doesn't matter.
So
I like
here's the
that.
interesting thing, because, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I was just researching on New Jersey Department of Health and the pool and beach regulations.
Yes.
More of the beach. But I remember reading it this afternoon saying that every pool is required to have a lifeguard. Now, I don't know how old that was, when it was updated, and it's interesting that you're saying that. So now you're telling me that not every pool has to have a lifeguard in New Jersey.
No.
And is it based on size of the pool or how many people in the water?
It's based on what type of facility it is. So like if you're looking at the health department, right, if they say you have to have, like if it's a pool facility, right, like for example, working with Toms River Township, like Snug Harbor, that pool, it's a public pool though, right? The gym is a private entity. So that's going as like a gym, not as like a YMCA that's just like a pool facility.
So if it's open to the public and people could buy, so the
Then
difference.
you have to have lifeguards.
So you have to have a membership. But see, I don't understand the difference between like the Y and
Well, the Y
How
is
is it
publicly funded.
so then it's how it's funded.
The
then?
Y is funded through donations.
LA Fitness is
that's
a-
they're making.
Well,
money.
I pay,
It's a
but
private business.
but I pay a fee to belong to the Y.
Yeah, but the Y is not a private business. I don't think.
Oh, it's
The Y is a
nonprofit, maybe.
nonprofit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the townships are public. They're
So yeah,
open
so like
to
Toms River
I
Township, the
got you what
Snug
you're
Harbor
saying.
pool in Toms River, that's a
Okay.
public pool.
Okay.
It used to not be. They obviously had lifeguards there because so many people congregate, because the Snug Harbor pool originally was just for people who lived in that development. Then it was to Toms River residents, and now it's anybody.
That's interesting because I have a townhouse up in Brielle, and there's a little pool there, and there's always a lifeguard. Now we were told they have to have one by law, but now you're telling me it's a private though.
Well, that's if that's like a private thing, or if
Well, it's
again congregation they want that, like
Yeah, well,
they probably have to
right.
have it if it's like a certain
That's
type of
interesting.
development or neighborhood or whatever you want to call it.
But LA Fitness is like literally like a club. That's
Yeah,
completely
it's a fitness
privately
center.
funded.
So
yeah.
it's not like, oh hey, this is a pool that everyone can hang out in. It's a
Yeah.
fitness center supposed to be made for strictly lap swimming.
Yeah.
Now, due to the fact that like they're not asking you to have a lifeguard, is that one of the reasons why you make sure all your employees are like AED and first aid certified?
Yeah, every single one of my employees is first aid, AED, CPR certified. I do that because like any type of emergency response training is always ideal for anybody, you know, like going forward in any type of profession. But the layouts of LA Fitness have changed over the years because we don't have lifeguards. Okay. So you notice like when you go into LA, all of the windows are right along the pool.
Yeah.
It's so that in case anything happens, like you can see someone, grab someone, whatever the case may be. Because the old LA Fitness, like you remember, was down in the basement.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's the door right there from the turf that you can walk right in. It
used to be 24-hour fitness, right? That LA?
No.
Or no, the one in Brick maybe was 24-hour fitness? I don't know. What exactly do you do at LA Fitness so our listeners know?
Operations manager.
Operations manager, okay. Because you were saying before the show how well prepared working on the ocean made you for that position of authority.
Yes. So, I mean, lifeguarding in general, everything that it teaches you, every like emergency response training, every 2 years, going to research, all of that stuff, like as far as like leadership, you know, having to be implemented or any like, you know, interviews just like this, anything, it's definitely prepared me a lot and, you know, responding the right way. Because there's a lot of people who, even for silly things, don't think as quickly as you would have to, like on the beach, you know, okay. Like even, you know, when you were visiting with your family, Dr. Ketchmar, like you had said, you know, okay, this guy's overweight. Like, where's the AED? Where's this? Where's that? Like anytime I see something going on, like I'm always aware of, you know, where that emergency equipment is, like where your emergency exits are, like whatever the case may be. Like I know a lot of my members very well. Same thing, like you guys have regulars that sit, you know, like maybe by your stand or anything like that, and you get to know them more than, you know, other people.
Wow.
Constantly scanning.
I go to, you know, belong to the Atlanta Club, and they have I don't swim there. I mean, I very rarely, but I work out. But anyway, they have a lifeguard there. But I don't know, you know, like, so I didn't know that. I thought it was every place, like, so it gets carved out. I have to check that out. See, that's the thing with all of these rules and regulations. You know, I was looking for the beach, and, you know, and it talks about, we have this thing about how many lifeguards, how far apart.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be 30, I think, yards from the water's edge. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was actually a distance from, you know, how close, but also how far apart. But it gets kind of, if you read the text, it says one lifeguard every like 300 feet or 300 yards. And then, but if there's another beach, which means if there's more lifeguards, then you need to have 2 lifeguards. But then it says, depending on the surf conditions, which means you need more lifeguards. And then, like, what if, so, you know, again, it goes, it's not really, I guess these things are, there's certain things that are rules that are written in stone. And then there's, not, what's the word I want to use?
Up for interpretation?
Yeah. You know, you might want to do this, ideas, you know, suggestions.
Yeah.
So, and that's what, when we had John Moore in here, was the attorney, he's talked about may, shall, you know, as opposed to, you know, you don't want to have anything that you don't really want to have things that are written in stone, because then you're kind of held to that standard where you can say, okay, there's flexibility. So it must be flexibility in the state's law then. That's what they're doing.
Well,
they're giving people flexibility.
Even between the public and private beaches. When I was at Ortley, they do USLA, and now Ocean Beach does OLA.
Yeah.
So those are different too.
Yeah. There's three different certifying, I think there's 3 now, different certifying agencies. USLA, you have Chiefs Association, and what's the other one?
OLA.
Yeah, I don't know if they're any different. You know, because again, we had the experts in here. We asked them, how does it trickle down? And the health department has their rules and regs, but they defer to the USLA. And there's USLA. I don't know if you noticed, but USLA has a New Jersey chapter, which was the first chapter, and then you have the United States chapter, and they are the exact same laws and regulations, and then these other entities have to be at least to that standard. So I don't know if there are any differences per se. So it's kind of interesting. But so the pool does that. What other stuff in the pool? So when you were a pool lifeguard, what was strikingly different from the pool to the ocean? So if I'm a pool lifeguard now and I want to become a lifeguard in the ocean, I could kind of guess what you're going to say, but what would be the difference, what I would have to do, and then vice versa, if, say, you're an ocean lifeguard and you want to go work in a pool, are you as qualified or like, you know, so because we might have listeners that want to do one or the other.
Yeah,
And
so-
so you had the unique of doing both. So what would you say to that?
So when I first got certified, I did open water just from the bat because I was originally going out for the ocean, and then naturally you go through the test and everything, and they basically said like, hey, your times, whatever. They were hiring 5 people, and like I did open water just from the bat because I was originally going out for the ocean, and then naturally you go through the test and everything, and they basically said like, hey,
What are you doing?
your times, whatever. They were hiring
You got
5
something here. You hit
people.
something.
No, we're good.
Get rid of that. I'm sorry.
What everyone stop talking for?
Because we heard.
Tyler, you looped Tori through it, and you right as you took your things off, so you couldn't hear it.
Whatever.
Yeah, just get rid of that box there, Tyler.
Gotta love
No one can
live.
see that. That's our comments.
So
Oh, that's our comments. Oh, sorry. Okay, put the
we have
comments
comments?
up. Put the comments up.
Now you guys want to see the comments.
Yeah, put them up. So, okay, keep going. I'm sorry to interrupt
you're
you.
fine.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I did open
sorry,
water.
this is, like I said, this is our new.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's a
so
learning
go ahead.
experience.
So, go ahead.
Everyone got to do it live.
Yeah, so, go ahead. So, go ahead. So, you got your training, open
I got
water.
my training, did open water and everything because that's what I wanted to do from the start. And I think the biggest difference between being at the pool and being at the ocean would be at the ocean, you always, naturally, actually, in lifeguarding in general, you always want to be proactive as opposed to reactive. But when you have any trouble in the ocean, it's kind of like a gradual thing, right? Like you said, when was the last time you saw someone, like a child, drown in the ocean? And like a lot of times if people feel like they're in trouble, like you kind of notice that, you see it, you're scanning, whatever. In the pool, it's just one and done. Like people don't realize like you're going down the slide, it's 11 feet deep here, you're plummeting straight
They don't even
into
come
danger.
up. Yeah. Oof, yeah. So
and
that's,
I think that was like the biggest difference is that like it's yes, being proactive, but also like you're scanning 10 times faster because you are so, like you have to be so alert to see like, okay, what everyone's doing, where everyone's going or whatever. And then naturally like they're running the concrete, that's different, right? Like, everyone has their own, there's like the ocean is, has so many different variables, sure, but like pools just as much.
Yeah, so I can see the quickness. That's what I was thinking. When somebody goes down, they go down, and you have to really scan. I guess there's no runs in there.
Yeah,
so what about going? That's going from the ocean. So I don't want to put you on the spot.
No,
but
you're fine.
To me, it seems like they're equally as tough. They just different. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like a pool lifeguard sits there and la-di-da-di-da.
Yeah,
And
no.
either do we.
No.
But it seems like they're both intense, but the pool is pretty shaky.
It definitely, like, I would say my first year guarding, I had 16 saves
At a pool?
at a pool.
Wow.
Really?
Can
And
you
like-
tell? Can you? You don't have to give us names.
Yeah,
or,
no,
but
yeah.
Give us some. Give us. I'm really.
Yeah.
So don't give us any
I want all the
names. No.
contact
Yeah.
information.
So,
Yeah.
the pool that I worked at
Yeah,
was...
John. I got John Smith. He was drunk. I know.
No.
He was with his girlfriend. I mean, I know he's married, but no.
No, you're not allowed to drink in the pool. But no,
We don't
I
want
had-
any. No names. Okay. So okay.
I had 16 saves. My first save ever was this little girl. She was like 9 years old, and her aunt, who was like severely overweight. This little girl had been going up and down the slide all day long. So we talked about like hour on, hour off, whatever the case may be. What we used to do at the pool was we had 4 different stations, we'll call them. So you had first chair, baby pool, second chair, and then first aid. So I had gone through like 1 or 2 rotations at this point, knew the girl was 9 years old, going up and down, fine, she could swim, whatever. Her aunt, not a Toms River resident, definitely did not know how to swim, went down the slide, never came back up.
Whoa.
And not to mention, obviously, at like Breakwater Beach or whatever, you have guards telling you when it's safe to go. We don't have that. Like nobody's on the slide telling you to
saying
go
go.
down.
Yeah.
She went right down on her knees.
Wow.
And I knew and I felt strong enough that if I got in the water and I could get the niece away from the aunt, that I would be fine. Like I could take her. It was I'm 5 feet away from the wall.
Yeah.
I would have been fine. So my first save ever went in sans tube. No tube, no torp, no nothing. Went in and she was choking her niece out underwater. And I had to get between the two of them. And when I finally broke them apart, the niece like went up, I pushed her up or whatever. She was fine. She went straight to the edge. Like, and I had somebody else, like obviously like I blew my whistle to go in. So somebody else was there to get her. And then I brought the woman up, but that
She tried to
was-
choke you.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
She
Oh,
didn't try to
man.
choke me. Thank God. Thank God.
Wow.
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 People seem to be less angry when you save them in a pool as they
Hey,
are as you are when you pull them out of the ocean.
Tyler, answer that. Says shoes. Will be at the pole.
Yeah, well, we got
Say
a
yes.
bunch of comments.
Yeah, we'll try to answer some of them. So
Shoes will be at.
Yes,
So this is from
we're gonna
Joe
be-
Casino.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Joe Casino Jr. JC.
yeah, tell them we're gonna
28.
take some pictures. We're
Gadget,
gonna take some action photos.
We'll be down there.
Ask him
Ben
if he's gonna
Smith.
be there.
Ben Smith
Benny,
says
yeah,
beach, beach replenishment is a waste. Change my mind. Ben, I don't entirely
Beach
disagree with you. I
Beach
think
replenishment episode.
It's a lot
I
of
think I
money.
made my feelings about beach replenishment.
I feel like we
pretty
could have
clear
a
on
whole
the show.
episode on beach replenishment
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all the different things that you could
We're
do.
tired
instead.
of the fill dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
David
right.
David Shotwell says no audio on YouTube. That's why we all awkwardly stopped talking before because I was checking that.
What happened? We have audio now.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Mark
What was,
DiLorenzo.
what was the problem? What was the problem?
I don't
Tyler
know.
did something and he took his headset off, so he didn't realize, but we could all hear Tori getting looped through.
So you definitely,
Okay.
we definitely have, we had.
I just
definitely
wanna
have-
point that out,
We
yeah.
definitely
Mark-
have volume now, though.
Yes, Mark DiLorenzo
What
agrees
happened?
with Ben. The worst of it was more towards Chadwick, Silver, Normandy Shores, and Normandy. And Josie says hi to Tori and that girls rule and boys drool.
Drool.
Yeah,
That's
what's
what
up, baby girl?
my
Watch it.
my what do you call it says that all the time.
You win.
My granddaughter.
I want to mess with you.
But yeah, Catch, I think Joe wouldn't have asked if we were going to be at the plunge if he wasn't. So
Yeah, he's probably gonna be there. So
Yeah, no, I really want to meet you.
yeah.
oh, you weren't here for that.
No,
That
I
was
was not here for that.
That was a fun one. I had
I know,
the,
I saw
had
that
the
was a-
lapel mic. I
That was
had
a,
to
yeah,
talk
I
like this
remember
all
that.
night.
That was an entertaining episode. I like that one a lot.
So I'm going to tell you. I want to hear some more, but I want to tell you one of my pool stories. Okay, because now that you're telling the story, so when I was probably 17 years old, 18 years old, I used to work Ocean County Pool, the college, Ocean County College
Yes.
has a pool.
They
I
had
used to
like a
swim.
family night, right?
No. Well, yeah. So it was part of the who ran it was part of the Berkeley Rec. Berkeley, Mr. Mize. I don't even know if he's alive. So Mr. Mize ran the Berkeley Rec. He used to take kids up to some resort. I don't know. So anyway, so they would have these kids there, and they hired me and another lifeguard to watch these kids. And it was, I don't know, 50, who knows how many kids. And I actually had a thing where I would take quarters and throw them in the water and have the kids
You're about
dive
to
in.
say start throwing them at the
And,
kids.
well, wait, and they would go
He said,
down,
I used to throw
and they would get the
ice
quarters and bring them up. Whoever brought them up, I'd give them. We had coupons for McDonald's. They all went to McDonald's afterwards.
You'd give them the quarter, say, hey, go.
No. They would get the quarter, and then I would give them the thing. If they got the quarter, they would get the coupon. But here's the thing: the pool. If anybody remembers that pool, it's still there, I think. But it has it had a high dive because it was a swim meets there,
Yeah.
and then a low board.
Yep.
Well, back in those days, we let kids dive. So I would have all these kids. They were diving off the top, the bottom. It didn't matter. I mean, they were diving off the blocks. It was just a free for all,
Anarchy.
and we were never. I never had a problem. I never had a problem. I mean, they were. I just told them, don't dive head first. They jump off. They would spin around two, three at a time. It's the whole thing. And I'm not kidding around. This is so. But here's the thing. So what happened one day? I'm getting ready to clean up, and they're all going in the locker room, and this I don't know if it was a boy or girl. It was probably a boy carrying another kid. So the kid was like on his back and his feet were going forwards, right? And somebody broke a glass bottle in the locker room, and this kid sliced his foot up. So he's bringing the kid out and he goes, hey, we got an injury. And the blood is just, gushing out. Of course, I put it, I compressed it and everything and took care of it. But I remember that was my lifeguard days. But
Yeah.
it was just like a crazy free-for-all.
So was that your first ever foot surgery?
Nah, I was 17, 18.
That's what made me fall in love with feet.
I want to say we got paid like $50 and to do it for the night. And I remember I worked with this girl, I could tell her name. Her name, I think her name was her maiden name is Liz Keys, and she's actually a nurse at Community. And we both lifeguarded. It was great. We had a great time. We made a lot of money, and it was a lot of fun. But so I want to hear it. So somebody give me some more. So this was 1 year you made all these rescues, or
Yeah, so that was the first summer.
So give me a couple more rescues that you did.
So that was my first save ever, was that 9-year-old girl and her aunt. And then I probably had just like a couple other like random ones, you know, like kids again going off
Little
the slide or whatever, not realizing that like you're going into a pool, it's not 4 feet deep, you can't stand there, whatever the case may be, because that's usually like the biggest thing. I think probably the scariest one from that summer was the first time I ever had to start CPR. It was like we would go from first chair to the baby pool, and in the baby pool it's like 2.5 feet deep, that's it, and there's a fountain in there, cold water comes out, whatever, it's constantly moving, fine, great, grand, wonderful. And there was this like girl there with her little brother who had to have been like 3 or 4 years old, and their aunts had taken them, and their aunts were like not like in a wheelchair but like a walker type thing, so like they weren't going anywhere fast. And outside of the baby pool, they had a gate that went to the playground, and the playground had a gate that went to the big pool.
Right.
So this kid had gotten out to the playground and then walked from that gate to the big pool and went straight down the slide and just never came up.
How old was this child?
He was like 3 or 4 years old. And I was on second chair at this time. And basically, if there was less than like, you know, 30 people in the pool, second chair could stand below first chair. So basically, instead of somebody being up sitting wood, like you would be below. And if like someone on first chair said, hey, you know, go assist them or go do this, whatever, like you would go and do that. So, you know, we're scanning, we're chatting, whatever. And I see this kid go down the slide, and I'm like, that's the kid. Like I literally just saw him pop out of the slide, and I was like, he was just in the baby pool. Like there's no way he knows how to swim. So he went straight down, and he was so small. I didn't obviously need a tube or anything like that. I went in and like I had him just on my bicep, and I literally got out, and like his tongue was like out of his mouth. He was like already like, oh my God, I did 5 rescue breaths, and I went to start, and he thankfully like he coughed up and everything was fine, and like whatever. And like, you know, we talked to the aunts and everything because they were still in the baby pool, had no idea where he was.
Yeah. So I'll tell you my comment. You saved somebody's life. You know, that's amazing. Number one, I always talk about that. Everybody in this room here, we've saved people's lives, and so that's amazing. If you weren't there, that kid would have been probably, you know, if not dead, brain dead, or you know,
or if you didn't even catch him coming out the bottom of that. If you didn't see him as he came out of that, it could have, or
knowing that like he was young, you know what I mean, knowing that he was in the baby pool, and like he wasn't self-aware of where he was at that point.
It's like those few seconds that can like make the difference. Those times.
Well, that, you know, what I really like what you said is that you knew right off the bat, by the body English, you could tell intuitively that there was something wrong. And that's why I try to teach all the lifeguards who, you know, as a supervisor, you got to look at their body English. You got to look at their effect, you know, and they say, oh, how do you know somebody's drowning? Well, you know, a lot of times, or they're in trouble, you know, you can see how they look. But that was a real good pickup. And thank God, you know, because he's probably got one breath of water.
Yeah, he didn't even like, and that's the thing, like with children, like a lot of times children, they have like a lot of like silent drowning incidents because, you know, like let's say you're like, you know, making pizza one day or something, and you touch the oven's hot. So what do? Yeah. You don't, you don't touch the oven, right? So if a child thinks they're in danger because they're drowning, what do? They stop fighting it. So a lot of times, like they, you know, pterodactyl or whatever, flap their wings, whatever they think they're doing. But like, I mean, in reality,
they don't splash around.
Yeah, a lot of kids don't. They don't splash around. Yeah. They don't have any signals of help or anything like that because they immediately are, you know, okay, they're still so instinctually like making the decision to, okay, this is, you know, affecting my breathing. This is not like feel good or this hurts or whatever. I'm just going to stop. And they freeze and then they just go down. Like he did not fight it, didn't come up, didn't nothing. He just went straight down.
You know, and I think that's an accurate statement. Children are usually like that. They don't, because parents, they didn't hear any splashing. I've seen that in adults in the ocean and just go right down. Not all the time. And I think it had a lot to do with they were inebriated, you know. But exhausted. But exhausted, but also
usually you're exhausted from fighting it. You know what I mean?
But
I've seen that exhausted.
But I've seen people where at the end of the bar they would go up and down, and then just go, and they're usually pretty bombed up, intoxicated. But that's so that was your worst one. Yeah,
that was my worst run from my first summer.
Wow.
Do you think that working at the pool and seeing all that shit like prepared you well for the beach?
Yes. And I think even more so, you know, knowing like, again, that I didn't have the time to react, right? Like knowing that, now that I'm at the beach, I want to and need to be more proactive. Again, it's always going to be a gradual situation because at the beach, obviously you have, like the shoreline, you have the, drop off, you have a trough, you have whatever like you're dealing with. And then on top of that, you have the undertow. At the pool, you're just, like I said, one and done. You go in and that's it. You're under.
So what do you think about the pool that I illustrated? It's hot, cold. You go and then you got the jacuzzi. You go outside. I mean, I wonder if there's any because it was 27 degrees. Those people, their heads are exposed. They're out there drinking. I don't know. I'm trying to think about it from a physiology standpoint. How bad that would be.
Well, we had a few drinks in the hot tub in Vermont. We felt pretty okay.
Well, I will definitely say I know Adam never swam competitively.
No.
Hard pass. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Nah.
So
I'm good.
Obviously, you work at the Y. Do you know what we call the 6-lane pool?
The 6-lane pool's not there anymore.
Okay. Do you know what we used to call it?
That was like the hot tub. That was super hot.
Like the, I don't know, the torture room.
The dungeon.
Yeah.
Because everybody would go in there when we rotated in high school and they would get sick.
Yeah.
Like, just
For all
sick,
our
flu,
listeners,
Yeah.
the YMCA in Ocean County used to have 2 pools. There's a big 12 full
12
competition
lane,
12-lane pool, and then they had a 6-lane pool, which is now like a gym area.
Yeah.
And it was like
filled with like skin.
sweltering and just steamy and sweaty. Like you would just sit up. I'd be up there in a tank top, just like dripping sweat.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
Why?
the swim teams would come in, and there would just be like a.
What's the point of that?
Huh?
What's the point of that?
I don't know.
Why is it
Like
heated
they
like
couldn't.
that?
They couldn't
Why is
afford
it-
the AC. I don't know.
Well,
it's publicly funded.
Technically, that bigger pool is outdoors.
Yeah.
So the
this-
original 6-lane pool that's in there,
Yeah.
that was like the original building.
my
Everything
gosh.
else outside of that, it's like just that metal wall. It's all like outdoors technically.
I thought you
I
guys were gonna
just-
say it's like
I
like
still work
heated or
there,
something
but
that.
it's a temporary structure that 12-lane pool's on.
Yeah, that's why like when it thunders,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to swim in
Really?
there because
I love when
it
a
thunders.
storm's rolling in at the Y.
And they're like, I'm out.
But
Wow.
with that being said, I think that the temperature change and everything like that, like, I don't think that's good. I think a lot of
No.
times people don't realize, especially if they're inebriated or whatever, like they don't realize that like you can sweat while you're swimming. You
Oh, yeah.
still have like
Yeah.
you're still burning calories. You're still got your heart rate up. You're still doing all of that stuff, and to have that temperature change so quickly, I don't know if that's really ideal.
I don't know. But
Doesn't help.
I know if it's
Especially
spring.
if you're
I still enjoyed the hot tub in Vermont.
Yeah.
So did I.
The up in Spring Lake, they have a pool that they get the water from the ocean and they drain it every day and clean it every
Oh
night.
yeah.
Yeah,
My brothers were lifeguards in Spring Lake, and they had to. They have shifts where they would have like pool duty and stuff. They'd have to do overnight shifts and clean the
Yeah.
entire pool.
They do it, and they
That's
still
wild.
have it. So
Yeah.
they'll put these pumps in the ocean, and they'll suck the water out. And there used to be one in Seaside Heights, had a big saltwater pool. I don't know where else. So I don't know if there's any others that I know. Spring Lake has one, maybe 2. Anybody else know of any other saltwater pools anywhere?
Well, we used to have one in Seaside.
Yeah,
That's where
yeah,
Doc learned to swim, right?
yeah. That was
Well,
Casino Pier.
He didn't learn this. He learned how to
where
swim
he-
appropriately
he
for
honed
lifeguarding.
his
there. Yeah, he
craft.
honed his craft in that pool.
Right. We all used to go there and work out. A lot of people used to go there and work out, but that thing was nasty too, because all the people there all day long. But at least they drained it and they would clean it
Scrubbed
and then
it,
put
yeah.
all new salt seawater. So that was pretty wild. So you had that many rescues, and then when you went to the beach, how about some memorable rescues? Like what can you remember? Like one that was really stands out, like a crazy rescue that you did that was amazing, and or more than one, whatever you could.
Yeah, I will definitely say probably, and not that it has to be like crazy or anything that I'm like so proud of, but like probably one of the most neglected type of rescues are when dads try to swim their kids out to the sandbar in the middle of a rip.
Oh yeah.
And so basically this guy was out there, he was swimming his daughters, and I could tell that he was struggling, right? Because they're on the treadmill at that point.
Yeah.
So I know they're not going anywhere. They're on the treadmill, whatever. And, at this point I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to see, like if they need help, whatever, so I let them know I was going out and everything like that. I had somebody else on the stand with me, so it wasn't a big deal. And I could tell that he was definitely struggling because he was like pushing his daughter up out of the water. So like while he was going under.
Tippy-toe, walking on his tiptoes.
Yeah. And at this point, like the trough was so deep, it was like probably 7 feet. Like the sandbar was like really, really far out there. And again, like he's on the treadmill, so he's not going anywhere. And I went out there and everything, and I had said, you know, like, do you need help? Do you want to come back in? Like, let's give it a rest for now, you know, yada, 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 whatever. Like, you know, like, let me take the girls in at least, whatever. And he's like, no, like, I don't need you. Like, you know, I'm a cop, blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, okay, sir. I'm like, that's fine. I was like, you know, like, let me at least take the girls, right? Because, like, I know he wanted nothing to do with me. So he was like, you know, again, I'm a cop. I know how to swim. Like, I don't need you, blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take the girls and we're probably going to, you know, get out there faster than you. It's going to be fine. So, like, they held on, you know, everything was fine. I brought them in. I let, like, you know, the mom, you know, meet with them or whatever. And then the dad just wanted to stay out there. And sure enough, like, we were in the middle of a switch. My, you know, like, sergeant or whatever got down. And at that point, like, I was alone now on the stand. And I had to go back in for him because he was going down.
I love how, like, somewhere in that guy's brain, I'm a cop equals waterman.
Yeah. I get, like, I know when I first got certified, like, there were like 5 different police officers in like my class to get certified because they have to do like, you know, water training and stuff like that, especially depending on if they're doing like any, you know, unit or whatever. But that was probably like my favorite one, just because like a lot of people, especially dads, when they have children, like, not like they want to be the hero, but they act like, you
Alpha.
know.
I got it.
Or like a macho man
What
or
did he
whatever.
have to say when you got him
When
back
I actually
in? Yeah.
saved him, I was swimming back in or whatever, and you know, of course, you're not supposed to like, you know, let go of the victim until you get them, you know, situated, whatever.
Yeah.
And at this point, normally other people are there to meet you at the shoreline to help you. So like, if I'm coming in with somebody, you're gonna come and meet and like, you know, hold his other arm up, whatever.
Walk him in.
And at that point, like my sergeant was like, "No, she doesn't need my help." And this guy just looked so miserable. He was so mad. And then his wife just yelled at him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was awful. And then like later on, I was done with my shift or whatever. We had another like little half-hour break that we had. So I took his daughters out to the sandbar.
That's
At that point, and then brought them back.
Yeah.
Oh
and,
my God.
and, you know,
great.
you know,
That is so
my
great.
God.
and that's there's a lot of, we could dissect that a lot because
Yeah.
we talked about that. There's a lot of people who are get caught in these runs or in trouble, and they don't know they're in trouble, but we know they're in trouble. They're going backwards. They're not going to make it in. And so we, a lot of times, will go rescue them before it gets too crazy, before they start screaming, yelling, and going down.
like a little
but then
retrieval.
then they like get nasty with you, like, what are you touching me for? It's
Yeah.
almost like we're assaulting them, or they think they are. And because we made the decision, and we don't have any regrets on that. But then you have that kind of conflict, and you can't just wait until they're, you know, going down for the count.
Yeah.
And that's a really becoming more and more of a problem because people don't realize that they are in trouble. These gullies and these little, you know, that is a real problem because a lot of times for us, the ocean, people don't realize the ocean changes 12 feet maybe from every 6 hours.
Yeah.
So you could have a sandbar and no gully, and then within hours the gully fills up. And where we see the problem, and you too, is that they're on the sandbar and they're going in and out at low tide, and then as the gully fills up with water, they're going across. And some people make it, and then it's getting, and then of course when they get in that gully, and then like the run is on the other, you know, to the end of it, they as soon as they get off their feet, whoosh, they go and they're right out, and it's a real problem. And try to deal with that. See, what I don't like about the story that you told me about, not that you did anything wrong, but we're dealing with these people like in any beach, like say you know our beach, we might have say 8,000, 5,000 people in water. I don't know, whatever. We have 22 lifeguards. How many people can we save?
Yeah.
So when we get a jerk, who this guy was, who's taking our time away from us, and we have to make a rescue that was not necessary with him, and if some little kid drowns on the other side of the beach because we're jammed up, that's what gets me very upset. Because we have a certain amount of time to make these rescues. We have a certain amount of assets, and I hate people like that. That's why a lot of times when I go down, I'll say, listen, this is the this is the lifeguard order, and if you go back in the water, you get in trouble. We'll save you, but
Yeah.
you're going to be ticketed. And these guys know. How many times have you? We'll pull them out, and they'll get a ticket. Sorry,
Yeah.
Charlie.
Right off
Which
the
is,
beach.
I think, why.
Right, and thrown off the beach.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is why I was more worried about the kids than anything.
Yeah.
Like I was more worried
Yeah.
about getting
At
the
least-
girls and making sure,
At least he
because
gave you
if-
the girls.
Yeah, if you're making the conscious decision to,
Yeah.
What do you think you would have done if he didn't give you the girls? Would you have just sat out there?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would have just sat there and tread water, and just like waited for him to tire out even more.
I wonder what he would have done, like if it was like a male lifeguard that went out. Like, was it like a little bit of his like ego of like not letting this like female lifeguard rescue him and his daughters at the same? Like, I can fight it. I don't need this. If
I
it was
think-
a guy out there,
I think so, because
Yeah.
even like I said, when I came to the shoreline and like my sergeant was there, and like he kind of like looked at the guy,
Yeah.
like it's like, oh hey, like I mean the victim looked at my sergeant kind of like, oh, like like
Yeah.
you are supposed to help me, and he was like, no, she's got it, she doesn't need it.
Tyler, I prefer to have women lifeguards rescue me. I think if I think back in the day, I think I would have been like,
Especially for a
hey,
line
I got a
rescue."
cramp. I got a cramp. They're like, oh, don't tell me that guy
You know what
Kashmar
you
again,
are?
a
You're
pervert.
Like, you're like the little old lady that comes up to my stand on Fremont Ave and says, "Are you gonna save me?" That's you now.
No, I'm talking about when I was younger. I'd be like, oh, I got a cramp. Help me.
Oh my gosh.
So, but the point is that that is so that was a big one. And did you have any like really far swim rescues where you had to go like super far out, like somebody got caught in a run and sucked down, and you had to chase them down?
Yes.
Have you had
so
that?
well, I had a full line rescue, and at the time had no fins.
Oh, did you swim the rope out? Mm-hmm. So let people explain because a lot of people who listen on podcasts and may not understand the mechanics. Just briefly go over the mechanics of a rescue so they understand the can and loose can, how it goes.
Okay. So normally, like in front of our stands, we have 4 cans. So we have 4 torps that are set up. They're, strategically placed so you can jump down, grab it, throw the strap over your shoulder and everything, and make sure it's going across you, not just like over one shoulder, it's through your head and everything. So you should be able to grab it and pull the strap right over you. And then we also have a basket for the line. So your line torp, ours like were yellow, so they were totally different colors. You knew exactly like what was going on. If you were reporting and you were like, let's say like the secondary rescuer or something, you knew, like
Right.
And normally you go out with like, normally you have somebody who's making a rescue, and let's say like they need help, they'll universal sign like I need help, and then somebody else swims out the line depending on like what the situation is. So I was the one swimming out the line because I was the secondary rescuer, and basically had no fins, made it out there, super choppy day, super miserable. And the guy was like not from our beach. He had drifted over, and I don't know if he was like boogie boarding or like doing something, but he had fins on. His fins fell off, and then he got stuck or whatever. And then he, again, like it was super choppy and everything. So one of our guys went out, I swam out the line, and then it was just, miserable trying to get out there, because on top of you swimming against all of the weight of every wave coming down on you, you have all of this dead weight of line behind you that's also got waves crashing on it
and it's
all
also
over
getting
again.
pushed by the sweep and everything. And
So
That's
then-
why it's so
dragging you,
important to
dragging you.
feed the rope properly.
Yeah,
like I'll
exactly.
get out there like if there's a big trough, and I'll be
Yeah.
like chest deep, like feet
I'm the
out,
worst one
trying
for
to-
that because I'm like 5 foot. So the absolute worst one.
And there's family members pulling on it sometimes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Grab the rope.
I hate that.
And, like,
Yeah.
people on the sandbar will grab the rope,
or
and there's
or like try to run away with the basket
Right,
like
right.
down the shore. Like
yeah.
oh my god.
They'll see a rope in the water, like, oh, look at this rope, and they don't have no idea what's
Yeah.
going on. They have no
Yeah.
idea.
Feeding the rope can kind of feel like counterintuitive too, because when you're out there feeding it, you feel like you're giving the guard swimming it out too much
like,
tension.
You're trying to keep it.
But it's either you do that or you let it bow
pulls
all the
them.
way down the beach,
Which
and
could
then-
therefore pull the rescuer.
Yeah.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
So I got out there. So essentially, when you're going to approach a victim, you normally would, hand them the can
Yeah.
or whatever, or, depending on the situation, like if we were in the pool, approach them from behind so you don't get like hit, you're not distracting them because they're already
dunked.
in shock.
Yeah.
And then you have the line rescuer who essentially would go out and then assist the first rescuer, and you're kind of like almost saving both when, between getting the torps between everyone. So that was probably
a tough one.
That was a real tough one.
Yeah, because you're
my poor little feet after that.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Well, people don't, like I when I always make the rescues, I mean, I give it everything I got, and I get out there, I'm hurting, man.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
like, I got nothing left, and I'm hanging on. But then, over the years, and I have like 3. I don't try to make too many rescues anymore because I'm a supervisor, and it's not my job. I should be supervising, but once in a while I have to go in. And I had the last one, maybe about 2-3 years ago. The guy was fighting with me. He was drunk, and I had a can around him, and he was just climbing up over it. And I mean, it was really hard. These people don't realize they fight you. Some of them.
The first rescue I saw on Seaside Heights was Murphy. They were whistling.
Governor Murphy?
No, Ryan Murphy. Governor
Murphy would be the one drowning.
We'd be going again. But this guy was ignoring whistles from the guards. He was drifting off.
Where, on our beach?
Yeah,
on our beach? No.
Shocker.
They probably weren't speaking English.
The whistle is not English or Spanish.
No. The whistle is body English.
Yeah.
Whistle English.
Yeah.
But
so go ahead.
He was ignoring the guards. He was like yelling back at them, and he falls off the bar into the rip. They get him and stuff. And as they're walking out over the sandbar, like Murphy is telling him, like, you're done. We're pulling your wristbands. You're done for the day. Like, for ignoring us. And the guy punches him in the face.
Nice.
Like, straight up in the face. And then they had to bring him to the ground. They had to drag him off the beach, hold him on the ground. I was one of the guys that rotated over. So I was on the stand. I saw it. So I had to run down there and help them, like, hold him on the ground and wait for cops to come. Because he was literally just trying to fight everyone.
I am not going to lie. I'm so thankful that I only have 2 drunk patron stories. We have
like
I've had
we have like 12 for every summer.
So tell us the drunk. We'd like to hear this.
I have one drunk patron story. Neither of them were like drowning, which is great. But this one guy,
nice.
He was like, again, I won't name names, but this one guy, he is such a pain. Like, on the private beaches, like, you're totally not allowed to have any alcohol or anything like that.
Is this like a regular, like a local guy?
Yes. Yeah. So same with Seaside. Yeah. So anyway, normally, they're not like allowing that, or you're checking your stuff, whatever the case may be. Same thing when I was at Ortley, whatever. So either way, this guy, he's a regular. He's like arguing and everything. He's like doesn't want to leave, doesn't want us to confiscate his whatchamacallit, his cooler or anything like that, because they're not even allowed to bring that on the beach. Yeah. So like with the private beaches, like because they don't have a boardwalk or anything like that, like you go home. Like if you're gonna go home if you want to eat or you want to whatever. Like you can bring water, but that's about it. Yeah. So like this guy.
So cooler is suspicious.
Yeah. So this guy was drinking. He was clearly like messed up or whatever. And like I had gone over with like one of my guys, just because obviously you should never go alone. You're carrying the torp so that they know who you are. Like and again, as far as even in the water, like the torp is a useful tool to separate you from a patron. Same thing on land. Like if you have somebody who's gonna like escalate a situation because they're obviously drunk, then having the torp to distance yourself from somebody else is ideal. And this guy was arguing with me, whatever. And then finally back and forth, I'm just telling him like, you can't drink on the beach, yada, 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 whatever the case may be. And he decides to get up, and now because he's huge and drunk, he was like stumbling, but he was charging at me. So
did he reach you or did he
we
fall
don't mean
on the
the
way?
way.
Oh my God, no. It was a little bit of both. So he kind of reached me, but because I had the torp and I was like standing official,
you sweeped his legs.
I just threw the torp up and hit him right in the face.
Oh, that's good.
Hell yeah, that guy deserves
that.
That
is charging. It's like a bull. It's like you're like a matador. What's it, matadors? You throw the thing to shield them. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, no. Like, you know what I mean? Like, back up type of thing. But yeah. I thought he was going to be more afraid of the guy that I brought with me, because I'm like the shortest one on the beach and he's the tallest one on the beach. So naturally, but no.
Yeah.
Little did he know.
People would get.
He wasn't expecting you to be the one that hit him in the face with the torp.
Yeah. He probably was a bit surprised by that.
Yeah, they get the beer muscles. We had one guy last year, and he was in same thing. But I don't know if he was drunk or not. He was in the water, and he was not listening, and So we're watching it, and I went down. The lifeguards went out, and it's funny. The lifeguards were bringing the guy in, and it was you. I think you were sitting on stand as the lifeguards are bringing the guy in. They're talking to him, and he's probably like in his 50s, and he's actually reaching down and taking water and throwing it in the lifeguard's face. And you know who I'm talking about, the wrestler. You know, I don't want to say any names. And I'm like sitting there, and I thought that the lifeguard had tremendous restraint. I mean the guy was actually like almost slapping him in the face, just throwing like water, like you're a jerk. Yeah. And we had, me and him on the bottom at the edge of the water. We had the police and everything. And the guy goes on and on. And I said, listen, you got to listen to the lifeguards. You just go down there. No big deal. But he kept on going on, and eventually he's like, he goes, what, are you going to arrest me? The cop said, no, we don't want to arrest you. And he goes like, well, go ahead. Here, he puts his hands on. He goes, go ahead, arrest me. And the guy says, okay, took the handcuffs, and we got pictures of it. Because we have cameras all around Seaside. Yeah. And we watched just the guy walk. They took him off the beach in handcuffs. I mean, I don't know what some of these people. I don't know what they're thinking.
What's crazy about those situations is it's like I come rescue you, and you're like mad at me. It's like, bro, like, do you think I want to spend the next hour drying off again?
Yeah. Like they think we're doing something. Like, oh, you stopped my fun. We want you to have fun. Yeah. That's what gets
fun.
me.
It's fun being dry in the stand.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun going home alive. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I tried to talk to this guy. I was very calm, and I was trying, and I don't think he was drunk, but he was so, I used the word obtuse. He just didn't understand the situation. And I mean, I know. I tell
retrobait.
A retro. Oh, that's a bad. Yeah, I use that once in a while. You're a retrobait. They look at me like, huh?
I've been like, what does that even mean?
Well, obtuse means you're basically stupid. Retrobait means you're.
I know what that means.
A retrobait, yeah, it's you're kind of like not a nice person. You're I don't know, criminal, kind of shaky. I don't know what would be your contemporary word for that.
People crooks.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Kind of, yeah, retrobait. Yeah, retrobait's a good word. Yeah, but
we might have to research that one.
Retrobait, yeah. But that was your.
That was my angry drunk story. Yeah. I have a happy drunk story.
Yeah. Well, how about a happy? So I was going to say, how about a story where some people, like I've had ones where people really nice, super thankful. So give us one. You remember any of those off the top of your head where some people really?
Well, the wife of those two girls was definitely super thankful. Oh, but my happy drunk story would definitely have to be this probably 400-pound man. And we were on the south end of the beach, and there's three of us, and all of us have our radios on us and everything, but naturally, if you are going into the water, you don't bring your radio on you, right?
You did that?
Nope. No, not I. But you don't bring your radio on you. So this guy was in the shore break, and he was getting tossed around, and he's again 400 pounds or something like that. He was obliterated. And the reason that he was getting, tossed around is because he was wearing white New Balance sneakers in the water.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, it's classic. Yeah.
In the middle of high tide. And
I'm surprised he still had them on.
Yeah, basically, he couldn't get back up.
Yeah.
So naturally, if somebody is in the shore break, they get tossed around. They're not drowning, but they're down for the count.
That's good.
And it's not easy it's not easy with a 400-pound man.
My God,
people don't realize that's a lot.
A couple guards.
I like to give the rookies a shot at getting them up first.
When it's a 400-pound person in the wash, and I send a 16-year-old
let's see what you're made of, kid. Get that guy out of the wash.
You could get crushed. That guy can roll on top of you. You could get killed.
So luckily, I had the biggest guy on the beach, on my stand, aka 6'5", 245 pounds. Total
package
stacked nut.
No. Okay.
Total gorilla juice bag.
No. Total package, real hefty looking guy, just strong man. Goes down there, but didn't have his radio.
I dropped my radio in a tide pool once.
So now he's all the way down there, and we're like, oh, he definitely needs help. Do you think he needs help? We're not sure if he needs help. I don't know. So then I send the other guy, okay, go see if he needs help. Now he brought his radio. They totally need help. His radio gets wet because now he brings down his other friend who's also 350 pounds. And sure enough, we get a wheelchair down there and everything, and it took 10 of us to get this man up in the wheelchair and then
Yeah.
like through the
Yeah.
beach.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like beach wheelchairs, like
Because then you gotta push them up the berm.
Yeah, and you're dealing with like half deflated tires.
Yeah.
And not to mention like PVC piping that's just like
Just bending.
I was about to
around.
say, like,
Bending.
I feel like if someone can come up with a better design for those things, they might have themselves $1 million
It's called a
idea.
forklift.
So I, as a supervisor, I go down and I'll go on the bench on a stand and give people breaks, obviously. So anyway, I go down and I'm there. And it's a calm day. It's a very calm day, and it was high tide, maybe mid tide, and you know the sandbars here and the gully. And so I'm looking at a guy way out there. Of course, you know, the 2 lifeguards. I don't know how many years experience, but you know they were good enough. And anyway, I'm looking at this one guy. I'm like, there's something wrong with this guy. I mean, you know how like the body English, and I have that. I'm like, you know, and so I put the binos on him, and I could see off the bat he's morbidly obese. This guy is, you know. So I said, guys, you see what out there? Like, what? Well, I'm like, oh, that guy, he's not in trouble, but let's call him in. Let's just check him out. Let's see what he looks
Bring him
like.
in a little bit.
Yeah.
So he starts coming in, and he's coming
Assess
in,
him.
and he just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
This is
and,
with or without the binoculars.
and I can tell you right now, when he finally got in, and he made it in okay, and he walked up the beach, to my surprise, he's probably about the biggest human being that I've ever seen that could still walk that big. He had to be over 400 pounds. And I said to the lifeguards, can you imagine if he had a seizure or something to get him out of the water, like on the other side of the sandbar?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care if it's flat day. We would need bring the truck with the winch. I mean, you'd have to. I don't know how. I mean,
Well,
you would get him in a boat. I mean,
Put him
or
in
a
a
jet
Van
ski.
Dyne.
No,
I
you'd
think
have to
that,
get you'd have to bring the
No,
jet ski
Van
out.
Dyne. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
Van
he'd tip
Dyne.
it.
Yeah.
How are you going to stay
Yeah,
high
no.
side?
How you gonna
You'd
you'd
have to-
But
no,
no,
but-
I
We need
think
5
I
guys.
think
But just think about
Fair
that.
point, Tori.
Because let me make a point before you hold that thought. Because here's the thing: we argue about why do you need a jet ski and why you need this.
Yeah.
In the United States, about 30%, maybe 40% of people are morbidly obese or definitely obese. There's a lot of people we deal with on our beach who are huge, 300-400 pounds. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
I think
lot.
the easiest thing at that point would be like the Wahoo board. If he even fits on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, what were you going to say, Tyler? Because you had a thought about.
I think a point that gets lost on people, because when we make our decisions, people get angry and they take it personally. But I think what gets lost on people is like we're making these decisions based on what we can see, and if we can see that it's going to be a real problem to get you in, then we're not going to let you get out.
Yeah.
And that doesn't just go for people that are obese. That goes for anybody who's swimming that we deem like not good enough.
Yeah. And
someone who just has a terrible stroke that you just know is a clear non.
Yeah, or if you come down to the beach and you have cargo shorts on and like
strict waist.
yeah, you got
And
the New York
sneakers.
tan.
and
Strict
sneakers
waist,
yeah.
and like
The
and
New
like
York
your-
tan, the one arm is
the
tan.
sunscreen is so thickly
You can
applied.
still see the
God.
white glow.
Just a
Yeah, the
crusty
shine, yeah.
layer of sunscreen. Like, hey,
But-
buddy, like maybe
Or when you put your kids in like a life vest
your kid's in a life
and they
vest.
just
Yeah.
bob down
Yeah.
in the rip.
So we had on our last show, we had a call in. He's the second in command in Miami Beach Patrol.
Okay.
So he's a operational supervisor, and we talked a lot of
Jerry
things.
Faulkner.
Yeah, Jerry, great guy, and he's been down there for years. I mean, that's a premier beach patrol. They just actually had a helicopter crash. Helicopter went off right in the water, like right next to the bathing people. Thank God the guy who was the pilot, was skilled enough or maybe lucky enough, didn't hit the beach and just was about maybe a few yards out from where all the people were in the water. They were waiting. You could see it. It's amazing.
insane.
Actually, but anyway, what he said about this topic about rescuing people and everything, they have I guess I don't know if it's a policy or a directive, but basically I asked them, how do you deal with how far people go out? And they basically look at people and let them go out as far as they can to where they can get them back on a beach if they say pass out or have a cardiac event within 4 to 6 minutes. So remember he said that's standard. So, but anyway, I mean, we like right now in Toms River, New Jersey, if you have a heart attack right now or a stroke, the system is set up, the EMS system and the ambulance, to get you into a cath lab to get a catheterization of your heart within an hour. That's the standard. Same thing, with a stroke. From the time you hit the the doors in the hospital to the time you get into a cath lab, to have something done, it's quick. So they are adopting that, where the way they lifeguard is that they decide, okay, how much I could get those people in, how quick. So if you have a 400-pound individual, I don't care if it's a lake, you're not going to let them out that far, or you shouldn't let them out that far, because how easy are you going to get them in? Same thing with people with clothes on. Now, we have a lot of people, and again, I'm not criticizing a lot of them. Their religion. We have the Hasidic Jews, we have the Muslims. They wear all their clothes, and we don't stop them. We let them go in. And I tell you what, they're very respected, because we'll say to them, listen, it's hard to swim with clothes, so we were not going to let you out too far. But to titrate these people and think about it, you need to really start to say to yourself, what's their level of impairment, and they don't have to be drunk to be in trouble, or to get in trouble. So you've had some, Adam, didn't you have we've had some big people in the water.
Oh yeah. One of the first things I did in Seaside, like something I actually got my hands on, was someone getting like a morbidly obese person out of like just the wash. And I was a rookie, and the senior guards let me struggle for a while, and I finally got it. And they were like, we thought we were gonna have to send someone else down there for you.
Yeah. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
No, but that's why I would definitely justify anything as far as like equipment that we have, because same thing, like I said with the line pole, like if you know that your biggest priority is to get out there and get that person above water, whatever is going to be the quickest way. If it's the board and you're just out there and you just like take them around, and then like you wait for like a ski,
you float them,
the boat or something, like whatever is going to be the easiest. That's like that's your biggest concern, is to get out there as fast as you can without taking your eyes off the victim and get them above water.
Yeah, I tell you, if you had an unconscious person, say 300 pounds, just thinking out loud, probably the best thing is a jet ski with the sled.
Yeah.
2-3 lifeguards. You send two lifeguards. Yeah,
Love
you
that jet ski.
throw the guy on the sled, hold him on. You could bungee cord him on.
Oh my gosh.
Any reason to take this ski
I love
out.
training with the Wahoo board.
But I watched that. Was it Bondi Beach? I mean, and I tell you, I don't know how many. I don't see any big people on the board, but they're predominant rescue, I guess, piece of equipment is the board. And
they don't have stands or anything. They just have the mobile, like the mule with the board.
Yeah, they have the one tower.
Yeah. There's a lot
of the one tower, and they call it from the tower. They take the mule out and they launch the board. It's like a one-man rescue.
But I tell you what, though, I know you don't see it, because they're the permanent lifeguards. There's these volunteer lifeguards out there
that
too.
Are just always out.
They're all out there. They're in the water. They're with jet skis. So they're a secondary.
Cool.
Yeah, they got a lot of. They have a lot of volunteer people in Australia.
Their uniforms are pretty tight. They got the blue quarter zips.
The baby blue with the navy blue.
Yeah,
I could get down with that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I might have to make one of those for our clothing.
I wish we had like the quarter zips from like Baywatch. You know what I mean? They look so much nicer than anything else. What?
Like my windbreaker?
Kind of. Like, I know
it's like a dry fit.
Yeah, it's like a dry fit quarter zip that they have, and it just looks so fresh.
Do you want to be sweaty in that though? Because
no, I mean, so
that's why it's called dry fit.
Offshore wind. Offshore wind. It's cold sometimes. It's cold up there. There's sunny days where I'm out there in sweats, complete sweats, and it's a sunny day, and because
for sure
people look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah,
no, but the wind up there,
it's freezing.
It's cold. So listen, we're getting, it's over an hour. It's an hour and 17. The time flies, huh?
Yeah.
So listen, I really appreciate you coming here. It was so interesting. The time flew. Yeah. I love to see, so many people enthusiastic about lifeguarding, and it's, you're added such a tremendous, you brought so much to the game, and you think about it, that child, you saved that child's life.
Yeah.
There's people go through their whole life, never saved anybody. And it's an amazing thing. If you do nothing ever going forward.
No, I cried every time.
Yeah. Well, but you save,
I don't know why.
but you save somebody's life. That's an amazing thing. One thing about our job is unique. We do save lives. I mean, there's firemen, there's police officers, everybody involved in those kind of situations save lives. And it's a really unique thing. But I really appreciate you coming today. And Tyler, anything you want to add? We have a lot of comments. Yeah, we're gonna have this.
Find us on. Well, you can email us. Hold on.
Give us some. While
email
he's
us
doing
at
that,
drkatchmar@icloud.com. Find us on Instagram. Give us a follow at LG Association. I want to read one more comment and then we can wrap this up. Mark DiLorenzo.
Yes.
He said he traded for one of those Bondi shirts while in Australia 10 years ago.
Wow.
I will pay you all the money for that, Mark.
I will overbid Tyler.
I will give you.
I just want to let you know, whatever price Tyler gives you, if you will then come to me,
I will give you all of
money.
Catchmar's audio and podcast equipment for that shirt.
I don't.
You can have the podcast.
I don't believe that he can actually do that. So I'm going to say my statement stands.
Yeah. You made me laugh on that one. Anyway, we really appreciate it. It was really we invite you back for sure in the summertime. We're gonna keep on going. We're gonna actually have on-site live videos. We're gonna come to the beaches, maybe do some tournaments. So we're getting more equipment. We're gonna try to do that, and maybe have some drone stuff.
Hopefully we'll be out at the Polar Plunge doing some interviews this weekend.
Yeah,
Oh,
Tyler,
yeah,
I think Tyler,
fun.
we're gonna send our ace reporter Tyler.
Yeah.
To do.
I'm gonna try to get some interviews with some of the first responders that'll be there, some of the police
Good.
officers.
That's actually dope. You're gonna swim out to any of them? Or
I might take a GoPro out there.
Yeah.
I want to talk to some of the drunk
you
hooligans.
think you can hack it in the water that long? Swim out to someone that's out there? The fire department?
I'm a waterman.
Yeah.
So you will swim out.
He's not going out. Listen to me.
Nah,
Here's the thing.
Come on.
He's not taking.
You can't. That doesn't
He's not.
count.
He's
That
not
doesn't
going out.
count.
He's not going out.
I don't think you do
I'm
it.
plunging.
First of all, I know you don't have a wetsuit thick enough to do that. So
Yes, I have a winter suit.
Yeah. You just gotta get
I
drunk.
don't believe you. I got it from
you got it
Patterson.
from Patterson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have booties though.
Yeah. See,
You're not wearing the Crocs out there, right?
I might have to. I wear these. Put the camera on me.
I can't.
I wear these on the
can't put
stand.
the
Oh,
camera on
hey,
you.
get.
Yeah, do it.
I wear these on the stand in hopes. You see all the little holes. In hopes that I get a tan line.
Oh my gosh.
A little speckled tan line.
Yeah.
But if Tyler goes there this weekend, if Tyler goes, we will have.
I'll be there. I'll be there with Tyler.
Next Tuesday, on our show we'll show the video clips. Now that we
sure.
have this new program,
Yeah,
we could do.
we'll take the GoPros.
Yeah, some fun shows coming in March too. So look.
Yeah,
forward to
we
that.
got a lot of people coming on. We got a lot of special guests. John Moore wants to come back. We got a couple more captains, and chiefs from Beach Patrol. So keep, as time goes on, we're going to get better and better at this. So anyway, you want to?
Yeah, Tori, do you have anything else you want to share?
We got to ask. Did you go about tell Tori what our sign out is? She's going to have.
Oh
to
yeah, we forgot to do that.
Well, I'm going to get some music. No, let me just talk to her a little bit.
Yeah. What
get
do you want to
everything
shout
out
out? Instagram, whatever projects you might be working on.
Yeah. How do they get? If anybody wants to, talk to you.
Nothing.
I don't want to talk to anybody. No,
No, you don't talk to anybody.
Cool. Sounds great. So at the end of the day, see, we really got to start explaining this to people before we go on air.
Yeah, because not good. Everyone's gonna hear you explain it.
What's the show?
Everyone has heard us explain. So, actually, you watched a couple episodes. Did you watch any episodes till the end?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember how we finish every show? No. Okay. Perfect.
Okay, hang on. Don't do anything yet.
We finish the day by saying "Stay out and stay alive." Like we do an announcement at the end of every day in Seaside Heights.
It has this huge giant.
Not white thighs save lives.
It's professional. It's professional. to me.
Hashtag white thighs.
Yeah,
white
but
thighs.
If I'm ever in charge of a beach, that's how we're wrapping it up.
Yeah. Right? What did I say last night? Lifeguards call her daddy or something like that.
That's what she was. She said she was gonna bring a little sign that says right there.
Oh, with a little neon sign like above the can that says Lifeguards Call Her. So if you would like, as we wrap up, do you want to do the stay out, stay alive?
Sure.
We usually have the guests do it, so.
Well, we're gonna get a little music here, So at the end of our beach day, we have a whole thing. So you know what to say. So anyway, listen,
Closing
Adam, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure. I hope your eye, you look like you got punched in the eye.
I did.
Yeah.
You might need surgery for that, bro.
It's not an infection.
Oh, it's not a sty? You did get punched?
I got into a fight.
My girl had to have her sty surgically removed.
No, she didn't.
No,
I
you
didn't
just
tell
put
you that.
warm.
No,
No,
shit.
you put
Okay,
warm heat on it.
Dude, text her.
Yeah.
No, you put
I'm
some
not
warm
gonna
heat.
text.
A hot compress.
Hot compress.
Sorry.
Tyler, thank you for working the camera today or working the instruments.
No problem.
No
Our
problem.
co-host Sean McKee left a comment. He says he doesn't get cold, so I'll leave you guys with
All right,
that.
good. So, all right, Tori. So, how about you could give us a farewell?
Farewell. Stay
And-
out, stay alive.
Yep.
There we go.
There you go.
There it is.
Stay out and stay alive.
Stay out. Stay
All
out.
right.
Bye.
All right, man. Take care, everyone. Let's split.
Peace.